Okay, we're here. We got the rockin' music going on. It always just like lifts the energy. And I got Sherry and Mel with me tonight. So you know this is going to be a great show. So for those of you watching on replay, you're in for a treat. For those of you who are here live, you're in for a bigger treat. So I'm really happy to have everybody here. And we have quite a few people in the house. Now, I do have in the crawler that you can put a question in the chat, all caps. But we do have some topics that we definitely want to talk about. So I promise we'll try to get to stuff in the chat and you know, cover all the things that you want to hear about. But you know how bad I am at that. So this is why. Not Sherry.
Fair warning.
You're still an admin, right?
No.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Oh, I thought you were. Okay.
No.
What the hell is that? Do you want me to make you admin real quick? And you guys,
if you want to, you can. If not, it's no biggie. I mean,
can you see the chat and star things, or no?
I can see the chat, but I can't star things.
Okay, everybody.
So
Mel's
if you want to do that, and I'm going to pop out, and then I'll come back in.
So Mel, the show is yours. I'll be right back.
I can't star things either, but that's all right. All right, here we are.
Now it's just us. I just got to give her a minute for it to get sent over, and then I'll disappear and come right back.
Well, anyway, recapping what's happened. It's been a crazy 2 or 3 days. You know, I watched those Senate hearings and the House hearings, and Kristi Noem's flippant attitude. You know, I just wanted to rip those eyelashes right out. You know, and well,
I want to yank her by her Botox puffed lips and just pull that bottom lip up over her head. You know?
It's like, well, we're investigating it. We're looking at it. Well, the investigation. It's like, I mean, the money that illegal money for that ad. You know, well, it's you know, she tap danced, diverted everything. And Tom Tillis.
I'll be right back. Let me go flip around.
Oh my gosh! I went back into StreamYard. I almost went into the wrong show.
Anyway, I was just talking about Kristi Noem and Tom Tillis. At it. I think her replacement's not going to be much better. I guess the question on everybody's lips is, who is next on Cheetolini's hit list?
Good question. Good question.
I wrote Pam Bondi. Your number's up, darling.
Yeah, the women. He's going to go through all the women and get rid of them. You know that. Oh, my sister's here. Oh, great.
Hey, hello. Finally.
Hello. Cleo, thank you.
Yay.
How is the furnace?
Right now, it's just perfect, and we had to buy a whole new thermostat thing. It ends up being around $5,000 for this whole thing, and it was we're doing it for a month. We've been working on this for a month to try to get the thing. We had to get the heat pump fixed. We had to, I mean, it was just, and the stuff's not that old. The thermostats went out. They're only about 3 years old. The heat pump had to have a new compressor. It's only 5 years old. I mean, crazy expensive.
Planned obsolescence, right? What state are you in, Cleo?
Washington, Seattle, Washington.
You know,
it's not exactly balmy weather.
I had a heat pump in my townhouse, and when the temperature gets below 30, they don't work very well. And I remember one Arctic winter, it was like, whoa. And it had to work to keep it at least 65 or 60 in the house. So, but my furnace has emergency heat. It's my townhouse is all electric, so I just bypass the heat pump and put the emergency heat coils on, and it keeps it warm. But and here at the office, coldest day of the year, 3 years ago, snowing, cold. On the roof, there's a huge unit. It went out. This is an office condo.
Oh.
I had to get a new one. They had to bring a crane, $13,000.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, we've got gas heat and heat pumps. So when the weather gets below 40, the gas automatically comes on. So yeah, the heat pump would not keep up with that.
Mm.
So that's how they deal with that around here.
Yeah, my
I
Okay,
had
kids.
the
that's really
AC on.
interesting. Now let's talk about Christy Noem. Okay, let's go.
Oh, did she get fired? Oh
She got
Yeah.
God.
fired. She got fired on Truth Social. She got fired. She was giving a live speech to some people who were stupid enough to be listening to her. And in the middle of her speech, he does a Truth Social that says, "I'm so pleased to announce that Mike Wayne Mullen will be taking over as head of DHS."
Well, Trump's not calling her firing. She's
No.
been moved to the shield of America. And then I heard it was almost, and then she quoted Orwell. I'm like, what? And then she's like, this one fried me. The same rhetoric for the shield of America. We're going to protect American citizens, and we're going to, stop these illegal criminal aliens. I'm like, oh my God. It was like, but
Groundhog's Day. It's
the
like
question-
Groundhog's Day. You're hearing it all over again.
but the
I
question,
have to put this up.
but the question is,
Krusty Gnome is head of the Four Seasons Gardening.
but the question is, who is next on
Yes.
the hit list? I guess all you have to have them do is give them a rough congressional and House hearing, and out they go. Who do you all
Bondi.
think?
Bondi's next.
Bondi, yes, that's what I've been saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blondie Bondi.
But then who would replace her? Would they move that other guy up?
Probably.
Todd or
No, I think
whatever?
it'll be somebody else.
I don't know. I have no idea, but I would just, you know, she is so arrogant and just so Trumpster, just whatever Trump does. And no, I'd just like to see both of them go.
Well, here's a good question too. I kind of looked at some news today. Now, I didn't have a lot of time, but okay. So Noem says that Trump knew about her commercials and knew about this and knew about that, and Trump said, "I didn't know anything about it." Well, whatever. So who's lying? Well, we know Kristi Noem lied, but my feeling is Donald Trump lied as well to protect his own rear end.
Of course.
He
They're
was
all
both
liars. It's not when did they lie, it's like when did they ever tell the truth? I mean, it just
Yeah,
never happens.
That's the correct question. When were they honest?
Okay, I'm going to go down another tinfoil hat rabbit hole.
Ooh, I love
Okay,
it.
I
You
like
go,
that.
girl.
All right. She's
Abby says
been-
Heg's breath is next.
No, he's not. So
You mean Holmes?
Noem, Krusty Noem says, "Oh yeah, the president knew everything about it, and they spent how much? $220 million on these commercials, right?" Trumpy says, "Oh no, I didn't know about it. I guess we got to move her out of there." Are we sure that they cost $220 million? Was this maybe not some kind of a money laundering scheme?
Oh, I'm sure that there was money pocketed, and I'm feeling like it was money laundering to the
Oh, I don't
degree
know. My
that
bells are going off.
that she awarded a contract to a company that had only been in business for 8 days,
Mhm.
and I'm sure she pocketed money from that, and I'm sure that Cipollini got his cut. And what's the guy's name that she's?
Lewandowski.
Thank you. He made his share, and her friend who ran the company used to be her advisor or something. So they were all in it. They were, no pun intended, they were all in bed together.
Yeah, and
Probably literally too. So
yeah, so that's what I think is really going
here's a
on.
gross thought.
I mean, I think the fact that she wasn't really thrown out on her ear, because he loves to say, "You're fired," right? So that didn't happen. She's got some other job. She's probably not going to even notice a change in her paycheck.
Right.
So she's just going to. And plus, isn't she one of the ones that's living on the military base?
Yes.
So she don't even have to pay for housing. So this money for all of these commercials, I wonder how much is just in her pocket, in Corey's pocket, in Dumpy's pocket, in Ivanka's pocket. I mean, come on, it's
But
just.
Colleen, you raised a good point, because I see some whistleblowers coming forward. Maybe it's some pressure from lawmakers that are going to say, exactly what you're talking about. They all knew about it, and they all had their hands in the till. And I mean, everything they did was totally illegal. And she's not out of the woods yet. I mean, I see her prosecuted in Minnesota because of those deaths
Yes.
of innocent people, and
Yeah.
Trump pardoned that.
I drew
Yes.
a couple of cards over her.
Yeah.
Real
What do you get?
quick.
What do you get?
I got the Chariot. So whatever
I got these a trip.
going on, everything's going pretty fast now. Then I got judgmental scrutiny. You think a lot of people are starting to get looked at much more seriously than they were. And then I got big city. So, they've got this attitude that because they're all from the big city, nothing can touch them. Well, that ain't the truth.
Here's something else I think about those commercials. What was the message of those commercials really about?
It was
What-
about Kristi Noem setting herself up to run politically because she thinks she's going to get run for president.
Maybe, yes. I think on one level,
I laugh at it too.
I think on many levels that was a big deal. Yeah, she did show herself riding on a horse in a cowboy hat and chaps in front of Mount Rushmore.
Oh God! Well,
Yeah. Wait. But the symbology in these commercials, was this maybe a message to, I don't know, somebody in a foreign country?
Like Putin.
Were these messages? Were these messages? I mean, she did a shit ton of these commercials.
I don't know if it was that. I think it was more that she was playing to the redneck, to the Proud Boy group, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that in her head, she's going to straight. She's not going to ultimately. Her and Trump will go at it, but not just yet, because she thinks she's going to be kind to him, or not kind to him, but still hang around. Blah 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 blah. Because I'm telling you, she has it in her head that she's going to try to make a presidential run. How much you want to bet?
Oh yeah, I think
she won't get anywhere with it.
Well, now I don't. Yeah, she won't get anywhere with it. But I think you're right. I think that is her base motivation for all of it.
Right. I think the message was, look at what a great American I am. Look what a patriot I am. Mount Rushmore, the this, the that, blah, blah, blah. Plus, it's her ego. I think she's a wannabe actress who didn't have the talent for anything. And it's her like, look how beautiful I am in all my different hats and this and that. I mean, she's clearly the picture.
She's not beautiful anymore with all the crap she's had done to her face. She looks like a swole up Barbie doll or something. I mean, it's like, what, you're going to sell Botox Barbie now, and that'll be a picture of her face on there? I mean
Botox Noem.
She's already designing the beautiful Kristi Noem Barbie. She's already designing it with the little cowboy hat and the chaps, and it comes with its own horse for her to ride. I mean, the box has Mount Rushmore in the picture in the box.
Well, I guess as long as they don't show the horse riding her, then it should be okay.
I thought that the reason that Trump did what he did was just for show, because she had lied for 2 days to Congress.
Absolutely.
So they just got, he just did that like, oh, okay, well, hey, I'm getting rid of her, just to give her a different job, just to get her out of there. But you're right, with the pay grade will probably stay the same, and it'll just be moving from one office to another. And she's still got a job with Trump.
He did it, so, he didn't really care about her lying or anything. He did it to save his own rear end.
Exactly.
It's going to come back and bite him in that same rear end.
Yeah, but I think she will be hurt. I think she'll be very butthurt by this whole thing. It's embarrassing for her. It was embarrassing for her to be, what was it, the Senate or Congress, wherever she was being
Both of
raped
them.
over the
Oh,
cold. Both, yeah. Her cards are terrible here, terrible, 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 and she's gonna get revenge, man. She is gonna get revenge.
Well, and
it's
she when she
her
was
out.
governor, she got banned from the Native American reservation lands there in South
Mhm.
Dakota. You know, there's
She
like,
doesn't care about that. She cares
uh-uh.
about running for president, being in Trump's good graces so she can get a good endorsement, if not from him, from all the people around him that will still have power. And she wants that very badly. And that's something that I think now is out of reach for her. But I think that emotionally, she's very, very hurt and she is going to take revenge on somebody.
And it's going to come out how much money that she got illegally, like from those commercials. And how much do you want to bet she was greasing her pocket for entertainment purposes only every time those commercials aired? Because when they aired, somebody gets royalties, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm sure she was pocketing a lot of that money.
Yeah, because political, I'm sure they sold them as political ads so that they didn't have to pay for the airtime.
Bingo.
So there's that. Then they're saying 220 million to pay to make them. I don't know. I don't think they're $220 million worth of quality ads, but I'm telling you, the cards here are just terrible. She's got bad cards. She starts out with the Eight of Cups, walking away in disgrace. She has the Page of Wands. She's going to be acting immature like a little kid. What crowns her is the Six of Wands, but it's just her in her imagination. She had this, this wonderful triumph, but she got the moon coming up in her future. And everything after that is just terrible. Seven of Swords, Four of Pentacles. She's hanging on for dear life to her money. Five of Pentacles, and then she ends with Five of Wands. This is not a good picture for her. This is not a good look.
I pulled the Judgment card for her.
Yep. Bad stuff.
So, I feel like I said, I saw Amy Klobuchar last night and on MS Now, and she was saying that they're in Minnesota, they're going to look into actually filing. She didn't say quite that way, but that investigating exactly what happened, and that the state would go after those heads
Yeah.
of DHS while Kristi Noem was still the big kahuna there,
Yeah, but they'll still go after her because she caused death.
Right.
She's
she's gonna try to undermine Stephen Miller behind the scenes. So yeah. I think you're right, Colleen. I think it's going to be this big power struggle between her and Stephen Miller.
Right. So and now she doesn't have the platform in the Shield of America. She's not going to have the platform unless she makes ads about that. Who knows? I mean, that's the other thing too, is she just wanted to have her name out there, her face out there, that recognition, because she knows if she goes to run for something else, that's very important, just that she's recognized in the public eye, no matter if it's good or bad recognition,
Well, if she keeps going with all of the face stuff she's doing, she's not going to be recognizable in 6 months. Nobody will look at her and know who she is. I mean,
yeah, well, that's the problem. She's not going to look like those ads if she keeps messing around with her face.
I think those commercials, and I know it's pretty obvious what I'm going to say, my light bulb went on, but they were optics, and they were playing to the ultra right-wing MAGAs. All right.
Absolutely.
And look at all the different hats I wear, the horse, these are the American values, Mount Rushmore, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really hokey, really corny.
And played on, we're going to get rid of all of the elements. She acted like, pardon my language, the Great White Hope.
Yeah.
Get rid of all of these other people, the Latinos, the whatever. She didn't say it, but that's exactly what is the underlying theme of her messages.
Yeah, it was very racist. Her message was very racist, totally racist. And the soaring music and the costumes and everything. Anyway, let's talk about Pete Hegseth. Now, my first wonderment is, Where the hell is he, and what is going on with him?
Oh, he thinks he's in charge. He thinks he is leading the pack. He thinks he's the knight in shining armor with this war in Iran. I mean, he
Has he been out
really
in the news? Has he been on any TV
always.
shows?
Yes, continually.
Okay.
But he's also, people are looking at him like he's being really strange because the things is saying, for one thing, very racist, but also this aggressiveness and going along with the BS of what Trump's telling us, that everything's going great and we are winning whatever it is, but we're not in a war. We don't want to call it a war,
Mhm.
and he just is saying the same stuff that Trump wants him to say about how well we're doing and how necessary it was, and if we hadn't have done this, it would have been terrible. Um, Nobody's really buying it. Nobody has seen any proof of that. And I'm talking about also the people in Congress and people in the House and Senate, that they've been looking at this going, well, where is the proof of this? This hidden nuclear bomb that they've got or they're making or something. And they're saying, hey, if we hadn't have gotten in there right away, in 6 months they'd have that bomb. And I'm like,
Um,
they said, I don't know.
Well, and a lot of it too is this is another good way to squirrel, have everybody look over here and not see how strongly he's running scared of Senator NASA guy. What's his name? Shit, I can't remember. Um,
Kelly?
his wife was shot.
Kelly.
Kirk.
Yeah, Kelly,
Mark
Mark
Kelly.
Kelly. Thank you. I went like blank on his name.
Kelly.
Um,
Mark
he's
Kelly.
I mean, Mark Kelly has been getting more and more and more vocal
Mhm.
against both him and the orange turd, and it's like every time I pull up YouTube, there's either another short or another short video with Mark Kelly saying, we're not going to tolerate this crap. This is not what the military is. And he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's just leading our guys to slaughter.
Who is this a playbook from? Putin. Look at the
Yeah.
rhetoric Putin used when he invaded Ukraine. This is not a war. This is blah, 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 blah. The same rhetoric.
That's right.
Donald Trump, he knew that Iran wasn't a threat to this country. He knew all of that every time. And we had talked about this on PoliTarology about a month ago, even. The
Mhm.
last time, even the couple times that I've done this show, we talked about this, that every time the Epstein files get hot and come to the forefront, Trump tries shenanigans. He did it with
Mhm.
Venezuela, and nobody's running Venezuela, even though Trump said he is not. He was going to do it with Greenland, but NATO stepped in and stopped him. Every time the Epstein files come front and center, he creates something. And all of us had said that, the next thing when he starts talking about Iran is there's something he's going to pull to do what? Deflect and divert all the attention away from the Epstein files.
And the Epstein
yeah.
files had just released some new video of him with little girls, like 11, 12, 13-year-olds,
Yeah.
So bad.
in very compromising photos.
Oh, it's
And they barely hit the press before he was dropping bombs on Iran. It was
But
like,
you know
oh,
what? The Epstein files will come front and center.
mhm.
I see other countries like just releasing them in their entirety, and we'll find out about it here. And the other thing that I intuit, the reason he's doing all this is because it's his way to try to control the midterms. Iran interfered in our elections in 2024 and in 2020. So did China. Excuse me, Donald, you're president. So if they interfered in 2024, they didn't do a real good job of it. So, he knows that if the Dems win the House and the Senate, his ass is grass and they are the lawnmower. And that whole theme that keeps coming up again and again with his diversions and distractions, the Epstein files and the election. He's trying to control all of it. But he, you know, here again, at the risk of being redundant, the Epstein files will come front and center again. With Hegseth, look at this. It's the card of deception, the card of deceit. You know, he's just doing everything Trump wants him to do. But I see Hegseth in deep trouble, and I feel like that he's going to end up ousted. But I also see that he's going to end up in jail. But Hegseth needs to watch his health, because what he's ingesting, and I'll say this nicely, is really not good for his health. We all know he's addictive, entertainment purposes only. And I pick up him still drinking. I don't think it's stopped. It's going to get worse. So
this is what I got on my reading. This man is very close to being either thrown into rehab or doing something that is going to just completely take him out of everything. He's going to end up in a really, really difficult detox and rehab. And that's what's going to pull him out of his, he's not going to be fired. He's going to be detained, almost put in jail because of drinking. He's going to be forced into detox and rehabilitation. That's what I see for him.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Plus, there's been hints in the news about him drinking still. There's also been hints that there's something wrong with him. You know, people are saying, what is wrong with this guy because of the things he says and, you know, the total backing of Trump and being like the word guy that, like, you know, it's a good thing Trump did this and Trump did that. And, you know, thank God we came down on Iran, or they would have had us, you know, they would have had a nuclear bomb. That's just so ridiculous. But I don't think that they do have that right now. I don't think they do. I think that they were fooling around with the uranium and stuff to make that kind of stuff, but I think they were using it for something else.
Yeah.
And it was just an excuse. Where did we see this before? Little Bush, younger Bush, back in Saddam Hussein days.
Yeah, they
Same
didn't have
thing.
high enough grade uranium to make a nuclear weapon.
well, here's the problem. You can have the uranium, you have to be able to enrich it. And they didn't have the technology to enrich it to make uranium quality for a bomb. You know, here's what, you know, Russia was getting drones from Iran. Okay.
Yep.
Iran has enough money to continue to produce drones because they have oil. And it's really going to hurt Russia to a degree because Iran is going to start using those drones against whom? Israel and the US. They can't reach here, but they're going to start hitting targets in the Middle East. If Russia can't get all the drones they need, what happens? It gives Ukraine the advantage. And so it's this war is going to drain our economy.
Oh yeah.
It's going to drain Israel's economy. Back to Hegseth, on your point, Cleo, I really, in the South where I come from, if somebody has a lot of alcoholic issues, we would call them rum dumb. In other words, it causes brain damage or encephalopathy. Now, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not diagnosing hedgehog or hog's breath, whatever you want to call them. But he's got some organic issues going on in his head, and it's from sipping the
yeah.
He's got some organic issues that's going to be going on with his liver too.
Well, right.
Yeah, the behavior is probably the signs of alcoholic dementia, which is basically a brain damage.
Encephalopathy, which means like brain damage. You know, a lot of football players get it.
Yes.
A lot of alcoholics get it.
Yes. Fighters who get smacked in the head over and over and over again get it.
So
they get it too.
So, yeah. But yeah, I do think that is what is going to take him out of his position. And that's not a weekend thing. You know, you don't get over that shit in a weekend. He's going to be out. He's not coming back when that happens. And I think that, Dumpy too, not, we haven't seen him much, and I don't think his health is good either. I think
Not. It's not.
let's
You
read
know,
on that.
Aaron, the hairstylist, put something here if I can share. He says 1 billion a day, but we can't have health care and food for those in need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
Good,
Right. Yeah.
Aaron.
We
Very-
can, and not only that, we can send billions to other countries to give their people,
Venezuela.
full,
Oh, excuse me,
yeah, full
Venezuela.
health care, free health care and education, but we don't have that money for our own people.
Israel. Oh God.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
shit.
contagious
Sorry.
disease there, Colleen. It's,
Yeah, I know.
what was your question?
Well, I'm just going down the list of people that we don't see much anymore, and Dumpy we're not seeing, and I'm thinking, is there a new thing? I mean, what was that latest thing? That thing on his
Rash on
neck,
his neck.
and they're saying that they did a thrombectomy on him.
I don't see that. Mhm.
I thought that was far-fetched myself, but I did think they did some kind of procedure where it went into his neck, but I don't know. They were saying that would be to remove a blood clot. And I'm like, no, he's on.
No, because you would see an incision and you would see sutures or a glue line. That's not there. It's just a rash.
And it is. It's just a rash. It looks like
It
shingles
looks
a
like
little
it could
bit.
be shingles, but it would,
Shingles?
you would have to see the other side of his body to know if it is or not, because
Oh,
shingles will only activate on one side of the body, like either above or below the waistline, or either the left or right side of the body. It won't
shingles is
cross
a
over.
herpes and
You're
stuff.
right. You're right.
Shingles is a herpes infection. Herpes, I think it's herpes zoster, and it
Yep.
follows the line of a nerve.
That's true too. Yes.
So, people.
Welcome to PoliTarology, where you can get some, but not all, medical information.
If somebody last night said it was malignant melanoma, I'm like, no, it doesn't present.
Hmm. Oh, he should be so lucky. Yeah, no,
Who knows? I don't think that they did any surgeries or anything. I mean, obviously it's a rash. What causes it? Up for conjecture, right? But his health is not good. That's for sure.
not good.
Well, and I did want to say, with all these other people that you guys are figuring out are going to be gone, unfortunately, we got to have Trumpy gone first, because those guys it'll all fall. It'll be like dominoes. Once he's gone, all these others just kind of fall by the wayside. So anyway, you're not those people aren't going to disappear right away.
No. Mullen, Bondi, Patel, Miller, Noem, they would be nothing without Trumpolini.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, so
Well, the first card I got on it was the Wheel of Fortune. So we're looking at karma coming full circle. What goes around comes around. And boy, howdy, I would not want to be in his shoes. And then I've got the Three of Wands, which is people looking away, looking out over the distance, contemplating taking a trip and maybe visiting some other countries that have that don't have, what do you call it when they want to yank you back from wherever you're at?
Extradition.
Extradition. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Got the Chariot again. So all of this stuff is coming to a head and it's happening quick.
Mhm.
And I got an isolated outcast in AI tech. So he's starting to feel very isolated. They're starting to use a lot of AI tech to try to make him look normal. It doesn't look good for him.
I pulled the Seven of Wands, and everything he's doing is the illusion, delusion, confusion, and that's
Isn't that
what he wants.
true?
That's what he wants to start. But then I pulled Judgment, so I see a lot more congressional hearings coming. I see heads rolling. I just, for the life of me, can't understand why the House and the Senate didn't use the War Powers Act to stop him. But I see that coming to a vote again. I also am thinking of the moon, in the tarot. it's hidden things coming to the surface. And there's going to be a lot coming out. And I still feel something huge coming in April with Trump. I don't know what it is, but it's not going to be good for Trump.
Yeah. I pulled some cards on his health, and it's really awful. I mean, the first card that came out was this.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's
Ouch.
not good.
Yeah.
That
Then
gives me cold chills. That means truth.
and then what crossed it though is temperance, and I think, and then the next card was Four of Pentacles. I think that he goes along with these palliative measures that they keep taking, which are not just palliative, they're invasive. I mean, he's had surgeries, he's had infusions, he's had blood transfusions, he's had experimental medications that require him to be hospitalized to administer. I mean, he's had some extreme things done to him. And I think up until a few weeks ago, or maybe a few months ago, he was just like, la, 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 I can do anything I want because they just keep making it work and making my ticker go and I'm okay, and ignoring the cankles, right? But I think now with this, whatever's going to happen, probably something with his heart, I think he realizes that it's real, that he's very mortal and he could die.
You
And
know,
every card that comes up after this has a sword in it. So I think there's going to be some surgery.
you know what I just picked up when you were talking? The rash, the bruises on his hands, they said from aspirin. I picked up some sort of, and I'll explain what this myeloproliferative disorder. Those things can be like, myeloproliferative could be like polycythemia vera. It could be lymphoma, leukemia. It could be something like that. And they simmer for a while. It could be multiple myeloma. But when they come to the surface, rashes, bruising, swelling. So I'm thinking this could be some sort of blood disorder that is cancer or cancer-like. And a lot of times you can start with a myeloproliferative disorder before it turns into lymphoma, leukemia, or multiple myeloma. I'm telling you, there's some sort of blood disorder going on with him. And it's not sexually transmitted. I really feel it's some sort of cancer. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm picking up.
Interesting. Really interesting. I am really bad with this particular deck, but I drew a card from it anyway. I have the predictions deck, and I'm trying to learn how to use it. But this one card really hit me because of what I just said. Change in perspective. His perspective is changing about his mortality.
But then it would make sense why he keeps talking about he don't think he's going to go to heaven and all of that.
Yeah, what is that all about?
I think
Of
he
course he's
realized
not
He's
gonna.
scared about making being roommates with El Satan.
I think he realizes under it all that he's not as well as he thinks he is, and that there's some underlying illness that's been simmering for quite a while, and it's coming to the surface.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, just the venous insufficiency causing the cankles, and probably heart congestion causing the cankles. Just that, how long has that been going on? That has been going on for almost a year.
Yeah.
Most people don't survive with that shit going on. They
Especially for that long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you get that kind of big swelling in the legs. The next thing you know, you take a fall, you go to the hospital, you're there a couple of weeks, and then poof, you meet your maker. Because it's not, your body can't survive that stuff usually. And that's why I think, he got the idea, well, they can do all these things and make it all work. But those cankles didn't go away, did they? No.
Whatever's going on with him, progressive, proliferative, and it's not good. But his body is doing to him what he does to other people in other countries. He proliferates like a cancer. He bullies.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on in his body. That's what my guy just told me. I could be wrong, but I don't wish him harm. But
No, I want to see him get his just desserts. I don't really want him to go too
Yeah,
soon.
I don't want him to up and croak on us in the next week or so. I want to see him with silver bracelets and an orange jumpsuit to match his
Yeah.
tan.
but
You know?
but it could be that his just rewards are a long drawn out illness that all the money and all the doctors in the world can't cure. And
Yep.
just like his behavior has harmed other people, that's what his body is doing to him. That's what's coming through.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and you see so many pictures of him walking wherever he's walking and coming out of the plane or something, holding on tight to Melania, for support, physical support. She doesn't want to do that, but, he
It's
is
in the
not able
contract.
to maintain balance while he's walking. I mean, that could be the beginnings of Parkinson's or a number of things.
Well, and they've been pumping him so full of steroids for the last 10 years to keep him up and going that it's amazing all of his internal organs haven't shut down completely.
Well, when you wear those skims,
You
it holds
from
everything
another
in.
doctor.
I'm sorry, say again.
When you wear those skims, it holds everything in. That does a great deal for your internal organs.
Yes.
Just holds them in there.
So I had to laugh.
I mean, the poor guy. He's ancient. His ankles are the size of the Mississippi River, and they're pouring him into suits that he wore 5 years ago, with undergarments that suck him all in. This guy's got to be and diapers, and he's wearing diapers on top of that.
And
This
he
guy's
looks like
gotta
if
be
he
so-
sneezes, he's going to burst every scene that encases him. It's like, it's
What
just,
a visual! What a visual!
I just thought of something, and this is going to sound terrible. Is he now wearing a bra for his man boobs or what? Oh my God.
Terrible. Yeah.
Somebody said that he's got diabetes.
Aw.
Good one, Mark. Good one.
that's a good one.
I'm going to use that. He has diabetes. Good one, Mark.
And every time we laugh about all the stuff that he's going through, it reminds me of A Christmas Carol, where the people are laughing about Scrooge after he dies, and somebody says, "Oh, we shouldn't be laughing and making fun of the dead," and they're like, "Why? He never cared about us in life, so why should we care about him?"
I like that. A Christmas Carol is one of my favorite plays and one of my favorite things of all time. And yeah,
It's hard. I mean, I would love to wish him well for something. I feel honestly, I feel if he moved on, if he crossed that rainbow bridge, I really feel he would be happier. No more skims, no more cankles, no more Epstein, no more anything, that is torturing him. No more having all these sycophants hanging on. I mean, he could just be in bliss, in paradise. But
you have to have a soul to go to heaven.
That helps. Yeah, that does. That's a good
He would
ticket.
be happiest if they gave him a fake iPhone, put him in a padded room, and have running loops of whatever videos you can piece together of people praising and cheering for him. And while he texts to no one and no thing, but thinks he is, and then there's some bot that they've got set up to respond to everything that he texts,
yeah,
and he'll think he's in seventh heaven, and he's just off in la la land somewhere. Um,
Um, this is just my personal belief, and I'm not saying it's true or not true. It's just my personal belief. So everybody, please don't inundate me with nasty remarks or whatever. I think when people that psychopathic die, they cease to exist. Isn't that like true hell? That there's no afterlife, you just cease to be, and everything about you is, when
just rot the grave.
around, his name will be taken off everything. All of his Trump towers and his pictures and just will cease to be. And I do see that once he's gone, but my feeling is he'll just cease to exist. And in my opinion, that's the worst thing that can happen because there's no afterlife. You just cease to exist.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a show, I wish I could remember the name of it. It's this, high fantasy show about this place in kind of another realm where instead of dying, their bodies just kind of dissemble into little black pieces of dust and float away. That's what I get when you said that. That's kind of what's going to happen to him. Everything, his name,
everything, just
his buildings, the signs,
Yeah.
it's like when Stalin died, the head of the Soviet Union, they took down all the effigies of him. They took them out of films. They took them out of everything.
Yeah.
Putin wants to bring some of those statues back, but the people won't go for it. That is hysterical.
That's so funny. That's so funny. That's good. It's really good.
Really good. He's just going to cease to be, I think.
I guess so. And
Be right back.
what do we think about his war room, or rather his blanket fort?
His what? I'm sorry?
His blanket fort.
For the war room?
Yeah, he has walled off a room in Mar-a-Lago to make it look like a war room.
Oh, that's right.
And it's just blankets hung up around them, black blankets hung up around the phones. You can tell from the pictures, you can tell that this is the same blanket fort that they had when they invaded Venezuela. It's not a different one, it's the same one. And in the pictures, because it's the same pictures, and in those pictures, the phones on the desk that they are talking on are not plugged in to anything. To anything. So whatever's on the TV, I don't know if that's C-SPAN or what it is, but it's not real. So how are they really?
So people aren't buying it.
No, and so who is really running things? Who's running this
Stephen
operation?
Miller.
Whoever it is had better get some better props,
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
And here's another person we don't know where they really are. Netanyahu.
Well,
Yeah, what happened to him?
Yeah,
I
where
see
did he-
Israeli people protesting in the streets. I
That's true.
see him being gone.
He is gone. He's not in Israel. He's not in Israel. People
But-
don't
right.
really know where he is.
Well, he's not in Israel because intelligence would, Iran would find out where he's at and send a drone. And, I just heard something today. I saw it that they're saying now that that Putin is giving Iran information on where our bases are located, where there's American troops located. And where did Putin get that information? Where? It came from Donald Trump when Donald Trump gave him our secrets. And now it's biting Trump in the rear end.
Well, didn't Donnie just sell a bunch of secret papers to Iran when he was in Mar-a-Lago? That was
Yeah.
one of the things that Jack Smith discovered. They
Right.
didn't even have to get it from Putin. He gave it probably to both of them.
But it came out today that Putin is giving Iran that information.
Yep. Yeah.
And we have predicted that would happen, that the secrets that Trump gave to Putin, there would be a whistleblower or some source that's credible that would come out and have proof of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I remember that. The whistleblowers. Yeah, absolutely. It's all going to be exposed by multiple sources, by whistleblowers, and all of it. The Epstein files, the secrets about Epstein being Mossad and affiliated with all those other world leaders, all the dirty crap that personally I really don't want to know all this stuff.
Grandmother Moon, the keeper of the secrets, she's
Yeah.
let it out. When we're talking about with Trump and crossing over and all that, it was reminiscent to me of an old Twilight Zone episode. And there's a guy who dies, and he goes to hell, and there's a guy who dies and goes to heaven, and they're in a room, and this guy is showing, in those days, uh, uh, it wasn't Super 8, it was 16 millimeter movies.
Okay.
One guy's going, "Oh my God, this is great, this is great." And the other one's like, "I can't stand it." So Satan comes, and the guy says, "Oh my God, I can't stand it." That was his hell. The other guy who's playing them and loving it, that was his heaven, because he loved those kinds of movies. So I can see Trump in a room with somebody who's in heaven and, doing everything that they love to do, and Trump just sitting there miserable for an eternity. I think that would be karmic.
Yeah, that would be really bad.
I just think he'll cease to exist, though.
I think the biggest thing that would really affect Trump more than anything else is to know that his precious is no longer available for him to Google and Google and God knows what else he did to that young woman. Well, she's not a young woman anymore, but when she was just a child, she used to go all kinds of places with her daddy, and places that you shouldn't be bringing a 12, 13, 14-year-old to.
Sherry, my light bulb just went on, and with all of this, redaction of the Epstein files and the diversions and all of this, it's a rhetorical question. But who is protecting the victims? Who is speaking up for the victims? But people will. And my guides are assuring me that these victims will be vindicated and justice will be done. It's going to come out. And people are going to ask that same sort of question. What about these victims that died? What about these victims that were sexually abused? What about these victims that went through that horrific stuff because of Epstein?
Yeah.
It's all going to come out.
And that doesn't go away overnight. That's
no. It's
stuff like that lives with you the rest of your life.
And I'm hearing that these victims will be vindicated.
I mean, for those of us who have survived any kind of sexual assault, sexual molestation, it's difficult to look at it because it will bring back your own trauma. At the same time as you're able to look at it and then do something about it, it helps you alleviate some of your trauma because it feels like, okay, this is being washed clean now because this is being taken care of. So, and God knows how many more thousands of young women and young men who were all part of that pipeline and haven't spoken out for whatever reason, or are in situations where they can't speak out.
So we all have to be vocal about the victims.
Yeah.
And for their sake, come out and let the truth be told and protect the victims in the process. I pulled the 9 of Wands. The victims, nothing's going to erase the horror that happened to them. But at least their stories will be told and people will be like, what? And a lot more women in government are going to be saying, even MAGA women like Marjorie Taylor Greene, even though I can't stand her, are going to say, wait a minute. What happened to these women is absolutely horrific. And people standing up for the rights of the victims.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are going to see that. That's one thing we're going to see loud and clear.
I think we already are.
Yep.
But it's going to be more, Cleo. It's just one.
Oh, yeah.
But there's going to be.
It's one thing to see it, but is it another thing that these victims will at least get some sort of justice?
Exactly.
And I hear a yes to that.
And for those of us who are survivors of that in our past, every time we're able to sit up and speak out against it, it's like one more little click of easing the burden that we carry in the back of our minds.
The rest of the world is calling Trump's invasion of Iran the pedo war because it was done to squelch the Epstein.
Yeah.
But it won't work.
Yeah. The world is paying attention and they are disgusted by what they're seeing. They're just completely, nobody is saying, oh, poor Donald Trump, he's being persecuted for this. I think pretty much the whole world is saying, this guy's a monster and he needs to be stopped. He needs to be brought to justice.
And I think a lot of their
We'll make
disgust
sure.
is coming from the fact that our own government officials that could do something about it refuse to do something about it.
And the world will make sure that people like him and people who have tried to squelch the Epstein files, that people like him and other big leaders throughout the world, and politicians and famous people and wealthy people who had, it's all going to come out, and the world will make sure that those people, some way or another, are brought to justice. The world is going to scream loud and clear and not let it be buried.
Yeah. With the attacks on Iran and the killing of 3, maybe 4 of their really, really main leaders, that country has gathered together a panel of 3 very respected, revered people to lead their country into the next chapter. And I'm thinking that might be something that happens here. What do we think?
Well, it's certainly something that a lot of us saw as as one option of the timeline
Mm-hmm.
of that happening.
Mhm.
So
When Trump invaded Iran, one of his Iran, however you say it, well, they're killing their own people, and we're going to protect the Iranian people and protect them from this regime, while he and his Gestapo ICE agents, thank you, Ms. Noem, were killing Americans, innocent Americans.
that's right.
My guides told me that Trump, he doesn't care about the Iranian people. He doesn't give an iota about. He is making money on this war. Don't kid yourself.
Oh,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course, of
And that's
course.
another reason these warmongers are doing it. They make money on it. But my guides told me that when Trump in Israel invaded Iran, it was going to coalesce the Iranian people together and say, and hop and mad and say, wait a minute, here's these foreign forces who invaded our country, and we are going to defend our country. And it really coalesced the Iranian people together. That's what I saw coming, and here we are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure there's been atrocities created in Iran against their own people, of course. But you got to be careful when you invade another country, because they're going to stand up and defend their country. And that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So we're kind of coming to the top of the hour here. And what I'd like to do is to go around and do a little read for the collective of some kind of positive thing, if we could do that.
Mine would be, I'm thinking of 1 Corinthians chapter 13 in the Bible, and I'm not religious. But it says, it talks about faith, love, and hope. And it talks about, if I give my body to be burned and do not have love, I become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And if I give my goods to the poor and do not have love, I am nothing. And at the very end of it, it says that now 3 things will endure: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. So what can we do to help defeat this tyranny going on in this country? We can spread love, we can spread hope, and we can spread faith. By faith, I don't mean that ultra right-wing Christian national stuff. I'm talking about faith in ourselves and faith that we will have equality, inclusiveness, and diversity. And I feel that by doing kind acts, standing up like the folks in Minneapolis did, and even if him getting rid of Christy Noem's optic, it did work. It brought about these hearings. And that's the kind of things I'm talking about here. We can do loving acts to help people in need. We can do kind acts. It doesn't have to cost us any money. It could be a smile. It could be helping somebody in need, whatever it is. Remember, Don't let the fear take a hold. You can love over hate. Don't let the fear stand in front of you and hold you back. Let it get behind you and push you forward. Those would be the words I would say to people right now.
That's beautiful, Mel. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
that's nice. Jen over here said, Cleo, are you okay? Those eyes are heavy. When I do these shows and I'm listening to these guys and I'm trying to pay attention to what they're saying, I'm also getting messages from spirit. And sometimes I have a real hard time trying to focus on one or the other. So no, my
Yeah.
my eyes aren't actually heavy, but my mind is just taking in a whole bunch of stuff. Plus, what they were bringing up today was to me really really interesting. So I'm kind of thinking about it. But no, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm not checking out anytime soon. But
Cleo, are you a trance medium? Because I really feel you are. I can almost feel that trance-like state.
wow, I don't know. I don't know. That's never really come up with me. I don't know.
You should give us some thought because I could just see the energy shift and I could no, you weren't sleeping, you were just whoa, almost like really super focused and wow.
Well, yeah, because spirit's talking to me while you guys are talking. And so, yeah, trying
It's
to
like
take it all
flipping
in.
your brain two different modalities there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I pulled something for the collective from Nate's new Oracle deck. What is it called? Voices of the Whales Oracle.
Ooh,
And I pulled Mystic Waves Transformation. And that, I think, is what we're in the process of right now.
that's what
Um,
you're talking about.
we are definitely transforming, trans, not just transforming ourselves, but we're also lifting and moving up to that next level. It's like we're here for a reason, and it's really dark and hard sometimes to deal with it, but with every step we're one step closer to the next existential level that we're all aiming for. That's what I got.
That's great. That's beautiful. Well, those were all. Cleo, did you have a message?
Well, yes. We have talked, like, going back to last fall and winter about all the changes that we're going through. But we did not really see specifically, I don't think, at least I didn't, exactly what is happening with these war things, and Trump saying that he has made the end of war for like 7 or 8 wars, and then he turns around but he wants wars with everybody else, and now he's actually doing it, but they're not calling it a war. These are all these little changes that is getting people really uh, they want to protest it, they want to talk about it, they want to be, we want it to stop, and our government, the people in government, don't seem to be doing enough quite yet. So I do see a moment in time where this is going to accumulate into something that's much better and broader than we ever imagined. I mean, it's going to be when Trump leaves office, which will come about, I believe, this year soon.
I think
Um, that is when people are going to be going, oh, that's why this happened and that's why that happened. So if you're stressing out, like the price of gas is starting to go through the roof, if you're stressing out about those kind of things, try to go with the flow a little bit more, because you don't need to stress out about it. But what can we learn from all this stuff? And that's really, I really, knowing Trump, this whole thing with Iran has a lot to do with the oil. Can he grab that oil? Can he make some money off of that stuff?
and
You
yeah,
know, you know, and he, everybody needs to really, uh, like some days I just start thinking about all the people that are protesting, and I'm so grateful for those people.
God,
Um,
yes.
And those kind of things that are happening around the country, especially, and the world. The Epstein files, that's a worldwide thing. That's really mind blowing right there. But
Mhm.
just in our country, where we see stuff happening and it's getting harder and harder to buy food, to keep a roof over our heads, that things never seem to get better, they just continually get worse. That can really bring a person down. Don't let that happen.
Mhm.
Don't fall into that. If you do start to feel it, and I mean, almost every time I come on here with the political readings, people are saying, I'm not watching the news anymore. That's kind of a good thing to do. Just get away
Yeah,
from it. Just separate yourself from this chaos because it can consume you. And so, yes, things are going to get better, but I've been saying that for a long time, and feels like it doesn't happen. I do think this is the pivotal year. This is the pivotal time, and the stuff is getting more and more bizarre. Um, you
You
know,
know, Cleo, it's like Lena Rodriguez said, uh, that Trump's people would not break away from him all at once. She said it would be little, like chipping away, piece at a time.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what's going on. But when
yes,
enough pieces fall away, then the whole thing crumbles.
right.
And
yeah.
that's what's happening. And,
Good
Yeah.
point. Good
and
point, Mel.
that,
Mhm.
that alone gave me hope.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It does. And because you're seeing it happen. On one hand, you're seeing something that's affecting you personally at this level of finances and um just not a whole lot of optimism. It doesn't feel like an optimistic time, but in fact, it really will be. So don't allow it to bring you too far down.
And
Just, and if you do feel drug into it, go outside and, I don't know, do
you know,
something else.
you know
Get
what
away
works
from
for
it.
me is stepping away from it. You're right. Like
Yes.
today, we had some poinsettias here. Somebody brought. They were beautiful, and they're still looking pretty good. So I went on. I had a spare moment, and I just had to step away from the politics and all of that. And I
Hmm.
went on like keeping a poinsettia alive, and I spent like a half an hour, like learning how to keep the poinsettias alive until next year. So, that'll be my challenge, keeping the poinsettias alive. It takes my mind off stuff.
That's the good thing. Yeah, get your mind off
Absolutely.
of this stuff a little bit. But
Mhm.
Mark says the changes are coming. They are. They are. And
Yeah.
but it is just little by little, just like what Mel was saying, that it doesn't happen all at once, and it's just
Mhm.
chipping away at this, and it will happen. But it amazes me that Trump is still standing and still having wars and then calling them not wars and still completely lying about everything, and it just never ends, it seems like. But it is going to come to an end. It is
So
going to change.
Orwellian. It's so Orwellian. It's a war, but it's not a
Yeah.
war. And then
Mhm.
like Christy, no, I'm changing everything in the middle of a speech, and then quoting Orwell. I'm like, oh wow.
That's
Yeah,
a
really. It makes you a little bit crazy, so you got to be careful not to get sucked into this
Yeah,
lunacy
it's easy to
that
get
causes
sucked
so
into
much
it.
chaos in your own mind about what's going on.
Yeah, they're getting some good plant medicine, I think, all of them, because they're really hallucinating. They're just like out there like crazy. Well, I do think we're in a very hopeful time, actually, and I'll tell you why. Uh, the the regime that's in the White House and most of the big uh, authoritarian leaders around the world are so misguided. They're all looking at things like oil, and oil is not the future. Oil,
No, no,
fossil fuels are not the future.
exactly.
And most of the world knows this and understands this. Global warming is important, not digging out more oil. So I think that that whole ilk, they're missing the point. They're missing the boat. And very soon, as these people die off and retire and stumble off into the sunset, then the rest of the world, which is sane, will begin to take, we'll be more cognizant of the steps they're already taking to fight things like global warming and to do things that are more sane. And as that happens, even before Dumpy dies and all the rest of these guys die, they will become less present, which means that we will begin to forget about them. And then when we're spreading love to to each other and ourselves, we become stronger. And we forget that fear because they're silly talking about no global warming and got to have oil and, got to go back to coal and, screw the electric vehicles, that kind of stuff will just seem silly.
Yeah, it is. It,
That
it does
stuff
feel
will
that way.
that stuff will seem Orwellian and fantastic. It's like, "Oh, that's a science fiction story." So I do it will. It will. It already does to me. But, a lot of the things they are focused on, like the Stepford wife kinda trad wife thing that they're into, the
Oh,
women
yeah.
no women in the military, like, the AI is gonna run everything. I don't know. I think that they're really barking up the wrong tree, and I think that as they realize that the world is not coming along with their vision, I think A, that'll make them go crazy, and B, it will allow the rest of the world to just start ignoring what they're saying and just, go the other way. I've already noticed, like, I went to go order groceries today. I couldn't get like a third of the things that I really wanted to get. I just couldn't get them. They just didn't have it. And I'm like, damn,
Wow.
it's happening. And you know, the world is going to move on without them.
The hope in this is if we look at a lot of the deep red areas that are going blue, for example, well,
Mm.
in Texas, that whole election was contentious.
Ah,
But if you listen to people like Tallarico and what he said about that this ultra right wing Christian nationalist, that's not Christian. He said they want Jesus to be some white bigot who only cares about white people. I'm misquoting him a bit. He said, but that's not what Christianity is about. It's about loving your neighbor. It's about loving yourself. It's about being inclusive to people. And
mhm,
that brings hope. And I see a new blood coming in the Democratic Party that is going to start speaking more about people's rights and more about looking at the things that are really existential threats to us, and that's climate change.
mhm.
Getting hooked into reality again. And I see a lot more Jasmine Crockett, AOC, a lot more politicians that are going to be speaking up about the real issues, and that's what we need to look at and doing something about it. So being proactive, not reactive, and I
Mhm.
and I see some new political parties on the horizon as well.
Yeah.
The
And
old order Democrats, you know, I see new blood, and the old order Republicans. The future of the Republican Party is not MAGA. It's about, guess what? You better get in there and look at reality, because if you're not, you ain't going to have a party any longer. And I see real fractures coming in that party.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think a
I
lot
see that
of
with Republicans. Yeah,
yeah,
they're
and I
not going to have a party if they don't
mhm,
change their change their ways.
That's,
mhm. And
so,
there's so many structures that that we take for granted that are probably going to change very soon.
I see very soon it's going to be an end to white, bigoted old men and middle-aged men running the country. I see
Yes.
many, many women in high-level positions of power, and they won't misuse it, but not the people like Christy Noem or the people like Pam Bondi. No. I see people that really care about humanity, and I
Mhm,
see, uh, the moon goddess, if you will, if we could use Wicca, right?
mhm,
Taking hold and really honoring the divine feminine. And
mhm,
I see I see women regaining a great deal of power, but not misusing it.
mhm.
So that's part of the new order that's coming.
Well, and you
Yeah.
see Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, yeah, I'm not. supportive of her at all, but to see the changes that she's making, comes out and finally says what she should have said a long time ago, you
Right.
know, and she is totally supportive of the women that have been abused by the
Mhm.
Epstein saga. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's really surprising. I didn't think we'd ever get to see something like that from her.
And
So,
that's what
Yeah.
happens when they see the true Trump. And more people like that are going to come forward that were really
Mhm.
staunch Trump supporters and saying, wait,
Yeah.
I drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I don't have to
Yeah.
continue to drink it.
And live to tell the tale.
Yeah, I mean, we've had, a couple thousand years of duality where, men, women, black, white, short, tall, big, little, fat, thin, 1, 2, 0, 1. We've had all this duality going on, and while I think that this whole bringing the Epstein stuff to light, having them go to trials, having them being charged, and it's not just the sexual abuse, it's the money laundering and all of the manipulations of the markets and the greed, all of that it will be coming out. And as we go through that, the it will be the height of duality because we will be judging them and putting them in jail and issuing fines on them and locking them up and all that stuff. That's the height of duality. It's like, I'm good, you're bad. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm free, you're locked up. So that we will have this intense time of duality. And then once that is put to bed and we realize that we can say to the evil people, you cannot be a part of our society. We don't want you to be a part of our society. You can't behave that way. So you either lock yourself up or you behave by these rules or you go through a program or you do something so that you won't be like that. Off yourself, whatever.
And
Like
I see an end to that duality. And this is the
and
beginning of that end.
yes, and then we'll come out the other side where I feel that the divine feminine will rise up in all of us. And we
It's,
won't feel like it has to be a winner and a loser. It will be all everybody together.
it's no longer going to be vilifying our Latino brothers and sisters, or
No,
our
not at
Muslim brothers and
right.
sisters, or our LGBTQ brothers and sisters, or our transgendered brothers and sisters, or our feminine sisters. It's going to be we're all in this together, and we have to get our heads together and make it work. And
And
that's
we do because
absolutely.
if when the galactics come, we have to be able to accept what they are and what they bring to us. And they will not tolerate this duality shit. They just won't tolerate it. They
right.
won't I don't think that they will even appreciate the multiple religions that we have because those structures are so artificial. When we can let go of the duality and go forward into something that's very much more just a coexistence of everybody, I think then it will be easier for people to let go of the fear. It will be easier for people to believe that I'm special, I'm beautiful, I'm perfect just the way I am, and so are you.
And it's going toward that.
It is going towards that. Yeah, it is. It is.
I would,
Not a false saccharine, just I'm gonna be nice to everybody and puppies and rainbows and unicorns, and I'm just gonna love everybody, and I do all my
no, not
spirituality for free,
Hannah.
and I give everything away 'cause I'm such a good person. I'm such a good person. Love me because I'm so good. Not that kind of superficial stuff, but a deep feeling of love. I love
True.
myself. I offer my service to the world because that's what I'm here to do. And I love the feeling that I get back from it. And I love all of you. And, just this love, love, love is so powerful and so strong. And you can live like that. You
Yeah.
can, but we're not there yet.
Every morning I go to
Absolutely.
Starbucks and I get my green tea and my little breakfast, the jalapeno chicken pot. No, I don't work for Starbucks or anything, but I pay for the car behind me. And somebody said, "Well, what if that person's a Trumpster or a MAGA or this or that?" And I go, "Wait a minute, I don't think that way. I'm just doing a good deed." And maybe it'll make their day, and maybe they'll pass it on, and maybe that'll spread.
And I have some MAGA neighbors who are really nice people. Really? They'd come over and do anything. If we had a flood in the river, they'd be the first ones knocking on my door saying, "Hey, are you guys okay? Can we help you?" I
Yeah.
mean, they're not bad people. They just kind of misguided in a political belief that I don't agree with, but they're not bad people, you know.
There's good and bad everywhere. I
That's
mean,
right. Well, my whole damn town is MAGA and Republican. So I
My whole
got
damn state is, so no
yeah,
comment.
I got to find the good where I can get it. So
also there's some bad Democrats too. Don't get
that's right. Oh yeah,
That's right.
That's a
That's
whole
right.
other show, Mel. You're going to take us into a whole nother hour with that. So, guys, we've been talking now for another 20 minutes over the hour, and I don't want to go too long, but this has been a great conversation. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you
Absolutely.
for everything. And we will be sure to have Mel on again, and hopefully my sister will be back again too. Because I don't know, me and Sherry are here all the time, and I don't think you get sick of us, but it is nice to have more people along. It really is.
I like to be
It's
on
really
with all of you. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, we're gonna have you back. We're gonna have you back, Mel. All right, so everybody, take care. Much love. Love
Have a great
everybody.
weekend.
Love everybody. Everybody. Big love to everybody. Mwah, 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 mwah. I love
Next
you.
person you run into, hug them.
That's right. Pay for
just-
their coffee. The person
just
behind you.
because.
Pay for their
Yep.
coffee. All of that. Okay, see you guys later. I